Good morning, Vande Mataram, Jai Hind. Today we will discussing about the center-state relation, the Sarkaria Commission, and other parts of the Sarkaria Commission and the center-state and the interstate relation. I hope you have watched the previous videos as well, liked on that, and share with your friends. So today is the day 14 of the Indian polity series that we have started. So without wasting time, let's start the session. So what is the center-state relation? This Kendra Rajya Sambandha. India has a history of colonial rule, suppressed the liberties and the economic exploitation in order to deal with that our founding fathers opted for the Union of States. Basically, India is a collection of states. The Constitution of India is federal in its form, and all powers, legislative, executive and the financial, are divided between the center and state. Some power are given to the states and some power are given to center. Although there is no division of judicial power, the Constitution establishes a single judicial system which enforces states' law in the same way as the center's law. Then comes the Sarkaria Commission, the Sarkaria Ayog. The Sarkaria Commission was formed by the central government in 1983 in order to examine the center-state relationships in various fields and provide the suggestions within the constitutional frameworks. Basically, the Sarkaria Commission was formed to know the center-state, how the relationship between the center and state is going on, and how some recommendations within the constitutional frameworks. This commission submitted its reports in 1988 with the following recommendation. The commission gave some recommendations, and the recommendations are: the use of Article 356 of the Constitution should be made springly, and all possibilities for forming an alternative government should be explored before imposing Article 356 in the state. The state assembly must not be dissolved unless the proclamation is approved by the parliament. So the first and foremost, the recommendation given by the Sarkaria Commission was the center imposing the Article 356 on the state. It should be the legislative assembly should not be dissolved immediately, but the written approved given by the parliament, then it should be dissolved. Then the second recommendation was given by the formation of intergovernmental council consisting of Prime Minister and the Chief Minister of states to discuss the collectivity on the various cons and of governance that cause friction between the center and the state. Also, it favored the determination of terms of reference of the Finance Commission in consultation with the state governments, and also setting up of small similar expert bodies at the state level was suggested. The fourth suggestion given by this commission: the High Court judges should not be transferred without their consent. The fifth one was the three-language formula must be implemented in its true spirit in all parts of India. Then came the Punchi Commission, the Punchi Ayog. The government of India constituted the Punchi Commission in 2007 to examine the center-state relation. The commission was chaired by the former Chief Justice of India, M.M. Punchi. It submitted its report in 2009 with the following recommendation. It called for the providing a fixed term of 5 years to the governors and also their removal via the process of impeachment, similar to the president by the state legislature. The governor should have the power to sanction prosecution of a minister against the advice of the Council of Ministers. This is a few recommendations given by the Punchi Commission. Then third was, it called for amending the Article 355 and 356 to enable the center to bring the specific trouble-torn areas under its rule for a limited period. Hence, it proposed localizing emergency provisions under which either a district or part of districts can be brought under the central government instead of a whole state. Further, such an emergency should not be for more than 3 months. Fourth one was, it proposed that the center should have the power to deploy its forces in case of communal conflagration without the state's consent for a short period of week. The constitutional scheme is sound in its fundamental and can withstand the challenges thrown up by the globalization, technological developments and security threats, provided political leadership at the central, state and local levels organize governance in the spirit of the constitution. These were some of the recommendations given by the Punchi Commissions and the Sarkaria Commission. The center-state relation. Although the center and the state are prominent in their respective region, the maximum participation and the cooperation among them is necessary to ensure the impact of implementation of the federal system. In this way, the Constitution has established arrangements on the various issues regarding the center-state relations. The center-state relation in India can be studied under the following heads: the legislative relation, the administrative relation and the financial relation. First one is the legislative relation. It is given in the article 245 to 255. Part 11 of the Constitution deals with the legislative relations between the center and the state. Likely, any other federal constitution in the Indian Constitution also distributes legislative powers between the center and states according to their area. There are three lists: the union list, the state list and the concurrent list. In union list there are 100, you can say, the subjects. In the state list 61 and in the concurrent list 52. The union list is under the union government, the state list is under the state government and the concurrent list is under the both state and the union government. Then the territorial expansion. The parliament has the power to create or amend the laws for the whole or any part of the territory. Also, a state legislature can make laws for the whole or any part of the state. This is the territorial expansion. That means the union government has the power to deal with the territory of whole part of India or one part of India, but the state has the limitations to do anything within the state which is it having. Thus is the territorial expansion. The application of acts of parliament to any scheduled areas may be banned or modified by modification made by the governor. The distribution of the legislative subjects. The union can executively make laws on the subjects of the union, states and the state list, and both the union and the states on the concurrent list. But the laws of all union will prevail. The constitution has vested the residuary power with the union parliament. The parliamentary legislative in the state field can be the following circumstances: if Rajya Sabha passes a resolution in the national interest under the proclamation of the national emergency to implement international agreements, when the states makes a request under the proclamation of presidential rule. In these five circumstances, the parliamentary legislation in the state field is implemented. The center's control over the state legislative. The constitution has empowered the center to exercise control over the state legislature in the following manner. The governor can reserve certain kinds of bill to be passed by the state legislature for the recommendation of the president. The bill on such matters that are present in the state list can be tabled with the state legislature only with the initial sanctions of the president, such as imposing a restriction on freedom of trade and commerce. The president can give direction to the state for reserving money bills and other financial bills in case of financial emergency. The Sarkaria Commission's opinion on the legislative relation. Also, the central theme of the criticism leveled before the Commission against the working of union-state legislative relation is over centralization. Commission opinion that regarding the Article 246 and 254, if the principle of union supremacy are excluded from these articles, this is not difficult to imagine its deleterious results. There will be very every possibility of our two-tier political system being stifled by the interference, sterile legal chaos, and the confusion caused by the host of conflicting laws. Regarding the residual powers, also on the regarding of union list and the regarding of concurrent list. The Article 256 and 263 covers the administrative relation between the center and the state. Article 256 provides that the executive power of the state shall be exercised as to ensure compliance with the laws made by the parliament, and the executive powers of the union shall also extend to the giving of such directions to the state as it may deem essential for the purpose. The Article 257 provides that the state must exercise their executive powers in such a way as not to impede or prejudice the exercise of the executive power of the union of the state. The center's directions to the state. The center is empowered to give directions to the state with regarding of the following matters: the construction and maintenance of communication by the state, the measure to be taken for the protection of the railways, the provision of adequate facilities for instructions in the mother tongue at the primary stage of education, drawing up and execution of the specified schemes for the welfare of scheduled tribe in the state. The constitution prescribes conceive sanctions for the enforcement of its directions through Article 356. Article 261 said provides that the full faith and credit shall be given through the territory of India in public acts, record, judicial proceeding, and the Union and its states. The Article 361 Part 3 declares that the final judgment or order delivered or passed by the civil courts in any part of territory of India can be executed anywhere in the country. The Article 262 said adjudication of disputes relating to water and interstate rivers or river valleys. The Article 262(2) provides that the parliament made by law provide that neither the Supreme Court nor any court shall exercise jurisdiction in the respect of such dispute. So basically Article 262 covers if there is any water dispute between the center and the state, the parliament may by law provide the adjudication of that dispute with regard to the distribution of water. This is the major provision given by the Article 262. Then the tribunal setups in the interstate water disputed. Some of the water disputes going on and implemented in 1969, 1986, 1990, 2004, 2010 and 2010. Some of the water disputed between the various states. You can just go with this and note them down by pausing the video. Under the Article 263, the President has the power to establish the Interstate Council and define its duties, organization and procedure. These councils have duty of inquiring into and advising upon disputes which arises between the states. These councils are also investigate and discuss the subjects of common interest between the union and the states, or between the two or more states. So basically the center-state relation is also given by the Sarkaria Commission, and the interstate relation is also given by the Sarkaria Commission. Now the interstate relation, it is a constitutional body under the Article 263 based on the Sarkaria Commission recommendation 1983 formed in 1990. Investigate and discuss the subject of common interest between the union and the states, also in the two or more states. The present composition of the Interstate Council: Prime Minister as a chairman, Chief Ministers of the states, Chief Ministers of the Union Territories having legislative assemblies, 6 ministers of the cabinet ranks in the Union Council of Ministers to be nominated by the Prime Minister, 4 ministers of the cabinet rank as the permanent invitees. The President has so far established the Central Council of Health, a Central Council of Local Self-Government and a Transparent Development Council. The Parliament has power to constitute Interstate Commission and empower it to execute such function as it may deems fit. The Sarkaria Commission opinion on the administrative relation. In a two-tier system of the government, where the administration of the union list is largely secured through a machinery of the state, differences are bound to arise in regard to manner of implementation of union laws. Article 256 and 257 are essential to ensure the harmonious exercise of executive power by the union and the state. Then, before issuing the directions to a state under the Article 256 and 257, the union should explore the possibilities of settling points of conflict by all other available means. The federalism is more a functional arrangement for cooperative action than a static institutional concept. The Article 258 provides a tool by a liberal use of which cooperative federalism can be substantially realized in the working of the system. The Commission recommends a more extensive and generous use of this article, the Article 258. Also, the center-state relation during emergency. How the center and state works in the emergency. During the national emergency, the state government becomes a subordinate to the central government, and all the executive powers of the state comes under the union government. During the state emergency, the president can assume to himself all or any of the functions of the government of the state, as well as all or any power of the state in or exercisable by the governor or authority in the state other than the legislature of the state. During the operation of the financial emergency, the union may provide directions to any state to observe such canons of the financial priority as may be specified in the direction, and also to giving of such other directions as the president may deem. The financial relations between the center and the state, given in the Article 268 to 293, covers the provision of financial relation between the center and the state. Financial Commission, Article 280, is constituted every 5 years by the president for redistribution of tax revenue among the center and the state. The Finance Commission recommends the president as to the distribution between the union and the state of the net proceedings of the taxes, the principle which holds the governs the grants in aid of the revenues of the state out of the Consolidated Fund of India, measures that are needed to augment the Consolidated Fund of state so as to supplement the sources of the panchayat as well as the municipalities in the state. Any other matter referred to the commission by the president in the interest of the sound finance. The GST, given in the Art 101 Constitutional Amendment Act, aims to make India a common market with the common tax by subsuming most of the central and the state taxes into a single tax by allowing a set of prior stage taxes for the transaction across the entire value chain. It would mitigate the ill effects of cascading, improve competitiveness and improve liquidity of the businesses. GST is a destination based tax. It follows a multi-stage collection mechanism. So GST means the one tax for the entire country, but there are the various taxes under that. We'll discuss that about in the economy series. The important changes made by the constitution, the Article 461 and the given by them, and the Article 269A, the Article 279A, and the some of the changes made to the constitution. Few of them are the some various taxes, additional custom duties are under this. The trends in the center-state relation. The major areas of tension between the center and the state are the mode of appointment and dismissal of the governor, the discrimination and the partisan role of the governor, the imposition of the president's rules, the discrimination in financial allocation of states, the management of all India services, encroachment by the state center of the state subjects. The zonal council. The zonal council aims to promoting cooperation and coordination between the states, UT and the center. They discuss and make recommendation regarding the common matters. There are only deliberative and advisory bodies. They are statutory bodies created by States Recognition Act of 1956. The act divided the country into 5 zones: the northern, central, eastern, western, southern. From center, Home Minister act as a chairman. From state, CM of all states in the zone and 2 other ministers. Each CM act as a vice chairman by rotation, holding the office for a period of 1 year at a time. Administrators of all UTs in the zone. So that was all about the legislative, administrative and the financial powers of the center-state relation under the Indian polity. It is not that much to discuss about, but remember the PM it acts as the ex officio chairman of the interstate council, and it is this council, or we can say the center-state relation, is given by the Sarkaria Commission. So that was all about the center-state relation and the interstate relation. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video with your friends and click on bell icon to get the notifications of new videos on time. Have a good day.